Hey everybody, wishing you all most and more welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a long time since I uploaded a video. Due to obvious reasons, I was not able to keep up my good work and I apologize for that. Today's video is for the Fairy Tales of the Looking Glass, and this is based on our lovely subscribers' request. So it is a fairy authentic tale about the Little Red Riding Hood. Before getting into the tale, there is something I would like you all to know. There is a difference between folklore and fairy tales. Folklores are just traditional beliefs, practices, lessons, and tales belonging to a particular culture and people, and they'll be passed on from generation to generation orally. To put it in a nutshell, folklore doesn't have a definite author, whereas fairy tales will be fanciful imaginary stories employed with witches, magical themes, fairies, etc., and they'll have a known author. So, Little Red Riding Hood falls under both fairy tales and folklore. Let me tell you the reason. The reason is the origin of the tale Little Red Riding Hood dates back to Italian times, and it originated from a folklore which was transmitted orally titled The False Grandmother. This false grandmother was later penned down by an Italian writer, Italo Calvino. The Italo Calvino's version of the false grandmother was altered under the title The Little Red Riding Hood by Charles Perrault. Charles Perrault's version was not at all recommended to children because there were many immoral stuffs added to it. Later, both the versions were combined and altered by the German folklorist Grimm Brothers. Grimm Brothers' version is titled as The Little Red Cap, and that is the story we are all familiar with today. The story has been altered many ways according to the change in generation. The tale Little Red Riding Hood, we all know, is not the authentic tale of Grimm Brothers, and that is why I am here to let you all know the authentic tale of the Grimm Brothers. A very important note, Grimm Brothers never titled it or called the protagonist of the tale as Little Red Riding Hood. She never wears a hood in Grimm's version. The hood and the title dates back to Charles Perrault's version. So what we have in hand and what we all know, title and a character which dates back to some author and the story which belongs to some other author. It's funny, right? No worries, let us get into the story without much further ado. One important note, it was hard for me to source pictures of Little Red Cap wearing a red cap. So I have used pictures of Little Red Riding Hood, the girl wearing a hood, but the entire story is what Grimm Brothers have narrated. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little maiden. She lived happily with her family, but of all, it was her grandmother who loved her more than anything in this whole world. So she made her granddaughter a red, small velvet cap. Since it was too cute, the maiden always wanted to wear it. People started calling her Little Red Cap. One fine day, her mother filled a basket with a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. She asked Little Red Cap to take the basket to her grandmother, as the cake and wine would strengthen her grandmother, who was sick and weak. Little Red Cap's mother strictly advised her not to stray away from the path, which would let her fall and break the glass of wine. Little Red Cap promised to obey her mother and started off to her grandmother's house out in the forest. As soon as she entered the forest, she encountered a big, wicked wolf. But Little Red Cap wasn't afraid of him, as she didn't know what wicked sort of animal he was. The wicked wolf pretended to be kind and started to question her. "Good day, Little Red Cap," he said. "Thank you, kindly wolf," replied Little Red Cap. "Where are you going, Little Red Cap?" "To grandmother's, kindly wolf." "What are you carrying under your apron, Little Red Cap?" questioned the wolf. "Cake and wine. My grandmother is sick and weak, and yesterday we baked this cake so it will help her get well," replied Little Red Cap. "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Cap?" questioned the wicked wolf. "About a quarter of an hour from here in the forest. Her house is under 3 big oak trees. You can tell it by the hazel bushes, said the little red cap. The wolf thought to himself, what a juicy morsel she'll be for me. Now, how am I going to catch her? He thought of a plan. Then immediately he said, listen, little red cap, haven't you seen the beautiful flowers growing in this forest? Why don't you look around? It's so delightful out here in the woods. Little Red Cap looked around and saw that the woods were full of beautiful flowers. So she thought to herself, if I bring grandmother a bunch of flowers, she would certainly like that. It's still early and I'll arrive on time. So she plunged into the woods to look for flowers. Each time she picked one, she thought she saw another which was even prettier flower and ran after it, going deeper and deeper into the forest. But the wolf went straight to the grandmother's house and knocked at the door. Who's there? Questioned the grandmother. Little Red Cap, I've bought you some cake and wine. Open up, said the wolf. Just lift the latch, the grandmother called. I'm too weak and can't get up. The wolf lifted the latch and the door sprang open. He went straight to the grandmother's bed and gobbled her up. Next, he took her clothes from her closet and put them on, along with her nightcap. He lay down in her bed and drew the curtains, waiting for Little Red Cap. Meanwhile, Little Red Cap had been running around and looking for flowers. She was puzzled when she found the door open, and as she entered the room, it seemed strange inside the grandmother's house. Then she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with the cap pulled over her face, giving a strange appearance. Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have, exclaimed Little Red Cap. The better to hear you with, replied the big bad wolf. Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have, exclaimed Little Red Cap. The better to see you with, replied the wolf in grandmother's clothing. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have, the better to grab you with, said the wolf. Oh, grandmother, what terrible big mouth you have, the better to eat you with. Saying so, the big bad wolf jumped out of the bed and gobbled up poor Little Red Cap. After the wolf had the fat chunks in his body, he lay down in the bed again, fell asleep, and began to snore very loudly. The huntsman, who happened to pass by the house, thought to himself, the way the old woman is snoring, I don't find it right. Let me check if something is wrong. He went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw the wolf lying in it. He had been searching for the same wolf a long time and thought that the beast had certainly eaten the grandmother. Perhaps she can still be saved, the huntsman said to himself. I won't shoot. Saying so, he took some scissors and cut open the wolf's belly. After he made a couple of cuts, he saw the Little Red Cap shining forth, and after he made a few more cuts, the girl jumped out and exclaimed, Oh, how frightened I was! It was so dark in the wolf's body. Soon the grandmother emerged alive. Little Red Cap quickly fetched some large heavy stones, and they filled the wolf's body with them. When he awoke and tried to run away, the stones were so heavy that he fell down at once and died. All the three were delighted. The huntsman skinned the fur from the wolf, and the grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine that Little Red Cap brought for her. And Little Red Cap thought to herself, never again I'll stray away from the path by myself into the forest when my mother has forbidden it. Hope you all enjoyed the story, and there's something special from this video. I'm planning a giveaway just to know how interested and how keen you have watched this. It's going to be fun. Here is a picture and there are objects related to this tale I narrated in this picture. The person who comments the most or comments all of the objects will be selected as a winner and you'll get a special prize. If you're more than 3 in number, the winner will be selected through a lucky draw. Hope you all find it, and I'm expecting more comments for this video. I've titled this episode to be Fairy Tales, but you may have found this tale to be illogical as it involves a wolf hunter cutting a stomach of a wolf and out comes a girl alive. Where is the logic? You may have come up with a question. Of course, there is so much logic in this tale. In order to know about it, you have to wait for my next video, which will be soon as I promised you. In the next video, I'll also announce the winners of the giveaway. Hope you all liked it. Please do like, comment and share this video. There are some who are watching my channel without subscribing. Kindness costs nothing. Even subscribing to my channel costs nothing. Please do subscribe. Thank you. I'm not going to say stay home. Wherever you are, wherever you go, stay safe.